Komati Power Station once stood as a pillar of South Africa's coal-fired energy. Today, it's being reborn, not just as a renewable energy hub, but as a symbol of social, environmental, and economic renewal. Joining me is Dr. Siphositle Ngange from the Sariti Institute to unpack how the Social Employment Fund is helping power this just energy transition by putting land, livelihoods, and learning back into the hands of the community. Doc, good morning and thanks for joining me.
Good morning, good morning to your listeners as well.
Yeah, I saw an article that was penned by you, and you co-authored that article with, I think, Ms. Govender, if I remember her surname correctly. Talk to me a little bit about the significance of the Komati Power Station.
All right, thank you so much for that. So the Komati Power Station, it was like established long time ago, like around 1960s. So most people, especially around Komati region, were dependent on it, especially for jobs. So that's the main livelihood that they knew like all these years. So that's how significant it is to that community. That's all what they know, and that was the power station where most of the community, dwellers were generating their livelihoods from in terms of job opportunities. In essence, I can just say it was their main, economic activity in the area. So that's how significant it was to the Komati region.
So I can only imagine when it was decommissioned, it really was a devastating moment for families and communities that worked and made their livelihood through that power station.
Yes. So since it's decommissioning, I think 2022. I mean. So it was many people, they lost job opportunities there. Not only those who were directly employed by the power station. There were also other indirect employees, maybe by the subcontractors. Thousands of them, they lost job opportunities because after the decommissioning of the power station, so the contract with those subcontractors also came to an end, leaving those people who were employed by those, subcontractors losing their job as well. So it caused, a lot of, discomfort and also, loss of livelihoods because, like I said earlier on, that is something they were used to, or that is something they know for their entire lives. Now they have to shift their livelihoods started to some other, activities, except for, the power station. So there is that, shift that is very adverse, to them. Like even now, we just introduced the social, employment fund project, which is funded by. Sorry.
Doc, can you do me a favor before we talk about the Social Employment Fund, right?
Okay,
Just for the benefit of the viewers, this fund is being administered, and it's so interesting as you're talking. It takes me back to some of the headlines that we saw around the Komati stuff. Like, so for example, one of the headlines in The Citizen was Komati shutdown. Future bleak for communities as people lose jobs, right? So that was was kind of a headline on SABC News. It was proper consultation process not following Komati decommissioning. So there was a lot of stories in the news around this. So this is quite an important conversation. But before we talk about the actual administration of the Social Employment Fund and the work that you've been able to do, tell me a little bit very quickly about the organizations that's doing the work. Sariti Institute and its mandate. Tell me a little bit about that organization, just for our listeners to be able to understand the connection between Sariti Institute and the Social Employment Fund.
Oh, okay. So Sariti Institute, we're an NPC, a non-profit organization. We established in 2009. So our focus is mainly on empowering communities to drive their own, development. So we do that by working closely with the local people, like the organizations, community leaders, like tribal authorities. So we'll create job opportunities through various programs, and we also empower these communities to improve their food security, by engaging in food security initiatives like home-based gardens, communal gardens, and so on. We also support the early childhood development and strengthen our community resilience. So we've got a lot of programs within Sariti that focus on different, aspects in terms of community development. So for more information about Sariti, you can always go to sariti.org.za.
Yeah. So now maybe I think that's the perfect segue to talk to us about the work that Sariti is doing with the Social Employment Fund in the Komati at the Komati Power Station.
All right. So we just launched the program early this year in Komati, but the Broad Social Employment Fund project has been going on since 2022, but we just introduced it in Komati. So it's funded by IDC, and the Sariti Institute is the implementing partner. So there we are focusing on different thematic area, as we know that livelihoods are made of different aspects. So we are doing food security and nutrition. We're also focusing on greening and the environment, also sports and recreation, healthcare services, and parenting programs, and also digital inclusion. So all those thematic areas are based on the needs, on the ground, because those are lacking, elements in that, in that community now that they've lost their major, livelihood strategy. So we're trying now to diverse and look at different, sources of livelihoods.
Yeah, and what's the long-term strategy here, Doctor? What is the with all these interventions, and it's a wide-ranging set of interventions, and having followed Sariti Institute, I know that a lot of work goes into, a lot of consultation goes into before a program is even rolled out. So I know a lot of these programs are probably in multiple conversations with the community in terms of what they need. And I know Sariti's always had an approach. They don't just provide solutions to beneficiaries, but they actually include, there's an entire consultative process. But what's the long-term strategy here if this is what the community needs and if this is what they've identified in terms of what they need?
All right. I'll be specific in terms of Sariti plans and also the social, employment fund. So from our side, so the primary objective of the Social Employment Fund is to capacitate these beneficiaries. We've employed, by the way, 300 participants across these 60 thematic areas that I've just mentioned. So we are capacitating them and trying to make sure that they are, they transition to sustainable job opportunities. So by us capacitating them across those thematic areas, we also identify the exit pathway, which is going to be like a sustainable job opportunities, or they establish their own, enterprises. So that has been, that is, our own ongoing, sustainability plan, making sure that we capacitate them, and then we track, the progress, and we make sure that we link them to, relevant, or we drive them to relevant opportunities that will drive the sustainability of what they are currently doing. It's not just about this immediate job opportunity, but we also looking at the future. For instance, those that are in agriculture, we capacitate them, and then we make sure that they are skilled enough to start their own enterprises. We link them with the markets. They establish their own agribusinesses and so on, even with other thematic areas like that.
But you're talking about agriculture, and I know your approach has been it's the first time I see this word, and I'm sure you'll explain to us as you answer the question what it means. But your approach at Komati, which is fascinating, the approach is the agrivoltaic approach, which is combining agriculture with solar energy, and it's a game changer for local farmers, right?
Yes, it is, a game changer, especially now that we are in this energy transition, agenda. We're trying to use a cleaner energy, cleaner way of generating, energy. So that is also our, short-term or medium-term goal in terms of introducing that, linking the solar with agriculture, because agriculture at some point we do need energy in terms of the irrigation system, and also some of the when you include more of technology now, some of the things are computerized, so you always need energy for that. But now that we are in this just energy transition process, we want to do that in a way that is still, efficient, that is still in line with the just energy transition agenda. Hence, at some point, we'll introduce, that way of farming where you generate electricity using the solar system, but you are using it in line with the agriculture. It's also another sustainable way of generating, energy.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal in terms of what can be done when organizations and corporations work together to kind of alleviate the challenges. And the Komati Power Station decommissioning provided a massive challenge for that community. And for Sariti, through this fund, to then develop these interventions, I mean, it's really, really groundbreaking. And I think South Africans need to know that this is a massive story for South Africa. It's such a positive story.
Yes.
And the impact of this will be felt for generations who still operate and live in that space.
Yes.
How,
Yes, so
yeah.
just to add on that. So I just want to reflect also on the the kind of or the caliber of participants that that we currently have. Like I said, that we just started earlier this year. So this month we're just finalizing the recruitment while we are starting with the implementation on the ground. So I'm coming to a point where you're mentioning about this kind of shift affecting even the other generations. You can already see it from the current participants, that this change is something that is new to them. This is not what they grew up to.
Knowing, yeah.
This is not what they are used to. So it's just new to them. So, like I said, they have always known about the power station. If you grow up, you're gonna go and work at the power station. Even assessing their skills, because we just did skills audit now. All what they know is just around power station. They've attended some trainings in terms of steel work and so on. So that's what they know. So this shift is obviously not gonna be a very easy mission, but we are hoping and we are going to make sure that it happens.
Yeah. And I think, Doc, what is also important, and the lesson here for not just for you as a team, but for all South Africans, is that I think the Komati's transition, right?
Yes.
I honestly believe it is a model that shows that decommissioning doesn't have to equal decline. Instead, it can be a springboard for regenerative agriculture, inclusive employment, and green innovation. And especially if we think about potential other stations that will be decommissioned, for example, places like Grootvlei and Camden.
Yeah.
This is the perfect model.
Yes, it is. It is, a perfect model, especially, now that it has started, in Komati. So it's sort of like a pilot of how is it, gonna look like. Hence, this intervention, that are currently there, because not only, Sariti Social Employment Fund that is there, there are also other, intervention. So they have that responsibility now to prove or to demonstrate that this just in energy transition, the consequences or the impact, to the can also be can be managed through such interventions like social employment fund and other interventions. So Komati is becoming like that sort of a pilot where we need to demonstrate that this transition can also can be possible if such intervention are being implemented.
Doctor, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate talking to you. That is Dr. Siphositle Ngange from the Sariti Institute talking to us about the work that they're doing through the Social Employment Fund, and it's helping to power this just energy transition by putting land, livelihoods, and learning back into the hands of the community. And as you know, the Komati Power Station, which was decommissioned, obviously at the time when it left communities scared of their future. And so through the work that Sariti is doing through the Social Employment Fund, they've really looked at how to reskill this entire community and to develop innovative approaches. And some of that approaches that we, for example, talked about is quite interesting, is the combination of using the land for both agriculture and for solar energy. And this approach is called the agrivoltaic approach. And that's currently being piloted in Komati with the community. And I think this is an amazing South African story. So, Doctor, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Bye.
919 FM, your morning of